Good day, viewers around the world. You're welcome to Talking Drums. Today, the 4th of July, 2023. Talking Drums is our program where we discuss, like we say, in the annals of mankind. There comes a time when our collective wellness rides on our meeting, urgent needs to talk together. And in a world that is increasingly pushed apart by our differences, there is no time as now to beat our drums of cooperation. So you're welcome to Talking Drum. We look deep into issues, news. We look into things that define us as humanity. And normally I go do my Talking Drums with my colleague, my brother in Canada, Toronto, Sir George Chukwu. Welcome to Talking Drums today.
Thank you, Massive Godwin, and thank you, viewers from around the world. We welcome you to our show today.
Welcome you to our show today. George, before we go into the discussion, some of the updates, news around the world and in Nigeria. One major one that is catching everybody's interest is Facebook. The Meta company says they are launching a new app to rival Twitter, and it's called Thread. So Thread is being likened to Twitter, and you have to get the Thread through your Instagram. On Thursday, Mike Zuckerberg, the Facebook boss, Mike Zuckerberg will be giving an address on Thread. The plan really is to go face to face with Twitter, and it's been described as a text-based conversation app where all communities will come together and interrelate like Twitter does. Also, on the news that we're following, while Thread is trying to come up, Facebook is trying to bring Thread. The EU court also has dealt a blow to the Meta company. Meta, that's the Facebook company. In Germany, they are taking Facebook to court over some piracy laws and all that. So that's going on. Also, by the side is Elon Musk. Elon Musk, during the week, last week, brought some new policies to Twitter, and he says unverified Twitter users will now have a limit to what they read, 600 tweets a day, and this angered some people. A lot of people went and said they are leaving Twitter because of this. In the news also this evening, for those of us that are sport lovers, boxing fans, Deontay Wilder, the WHO contender, has agreed and it's been confirmed he'll be meeting with Anthony Joshua in December 2023. So for we boxing fans, that's a big one to wait for. That's a big fight we'll be hoping to see. And let's go a little to Nigeria. In the news in Nigeria, the Nigerian ex-foreign minister, her name is Zainab Ahmed, just got an appointment as the alternative executive director of the World Bank in Washington, D.C. She's billed to resume duties on July the 10th. So these are some of the news making round, news people are talking about, news trending, and while we have other major news also. George, what will you say about what these few news, these updates?
Well, yes, several news around the world, and we're following some of them. Yes. What I say about Zuckerberg and the Twitter, man, is they were talking about doing a physical brow, that they have gone into a different kind of brow right now. So let us see what is going to happen between the two individuals, So, I mean, what's his name? Elon Musk. He's been acting very unstable, and a lot of people have been reporting that they need something alternative to Twitter because man is, I don't know what I would call him, he's a megamaniac or whatever the case is. Every day he wakes up with a new idea, he changes things at will, and I think he's trying to lose a lot of money so he won't pay too much taxes. That's why he's doing all these things. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I think about that. And then, the boxing match with between Joshua is going to be one of the wildest in the world. We're looking
wildest.
Yes, it's going to be something else. So.
Yes, it's going to be something else. We are hoping to have to see some great fights because these are two opponents. Even though they've met before. It was with the other man. So, but these are two strong opponents, and we know it to be worth the while to watch. Those that will be paying money to watch, those that will be watching online, it'll be worth it because we boxing fans love to see real strong confrontations, strong fights, from real good boxers. Okay, George, let's go on with our discussion for today. We don't have much time. Like we are having some interesting thing. The tribunal, the PEPT, Presidential Election Tribunal, that has been sitting for about a month now or two in Abuja. Now, also added to what is going on there in the tribunal, the EU came out. European Union. The European Union were observers in the presidential election.
Yes.
So you know all the story. The European Union came out and gave their feedback. They gave their observation report on all that went through in the presidential election, and they said it loud and clear. We've all seen the clips. Because of time, we might not run it here. So now the tribunal also admits, that tribunal that is sitting admits and says all the EU election observers have said they concur with. They admit it. They admit the flaws. They admit that there was a lot of hiccups, a lot of intentional malpractices. There were also so many physical altercations, physical attack on voters. So all of these, that tribunal says they admit and they concur with. So George, what will you say about this? What's your take on this, George?
Well, we are bringing in international election observers to come to watch what's going on ground and to give their reports. And the report has been given, and there is nothing to be said about that because they were very conclusive in what they wrote down. And basically what they are, saying is that there are some suggestions that they are giving. They were not just, mentioning the problems. They were actually giving suggestions also on things to be done in order to change and strengthen our electoral system in Nigeria. And for that reason, when you see the truth, what can you say? Except for those like Festus Kayamo, who is just, the man is just, I don't know what is wrong with that man.
No, but do you know they also added him and the other man, Festus Kayamo and Femi Fani-Kayode. Today, the EU observers categorically stated and said these two people were major major pushers of false news, major
Exactly.
distributors of false news. Yes, the EU observers added that this morning. So very
But you
good.
know,
Sorry to cut you.
why would they not do that? Because what you're saying is we are in a world today where everything can be seen as visible. What used to happen 20 years ago in our election cannot happen today, and that's what they try to do. And this is the reason why when you come out and start lying, publicly, you can be checkmated. So, and that's what's going on, because he turns around rather than, dealing with the system, starts accusing Obi of giving whatever is it, 2 million or $2 billion to Christian women or whatever the case might be. This is just an active way of distracting from the main news about what the EU discovered during that particular election on the 25th of February. Or was it March?
February.
February. So, everybody knew what happened. The only thing they want to say is, okay, they are sitting now, let's leave it alone. But that's not the way to go. Do you want the country to be run well, or you want it to be run by crooks like that Festus Kayamo? I mean, the man sees the truth and he tells lies. I don't understand why people will just allow that man. He needs to be stopped from traveling internationally. Because for somebody to be false news and fake news that way, they need to be checked on and restricted from a normal international life.
Yeah, George, what happens most times with supporters and call aid to such a party and like APC, and also to their principal, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But what happens is sometimes they want to really flex muscle and make the man see that they have so much loyalty to him. So in the quest for their trying to display loyalty, they exaggerate and they do all kinds of things to show loyalty. So this is what we're saying.
They better watch out and see what is happening in the United States of America when Trump tried to do that electoral coup that he attempted. Look at all the people that supported Trump. Most of them are going to jail. Most of them are going to jail, and most of them are bound to go to jail. And some of them today are pleading. The former governor of New York?
Yes, Como.
Yes. Where is it? No, the former governor.
The fat man.
No, not the fat man. The one that was supporting Trump's former attorney. So, I mean, right now he's already, working with the DOJ. So this is the problem that we're having in Nigeria today. We cannot allow this corruption to continue, shaming us internationally. Yeah, everybody said, oh, there is corruption. Would you allow the corruption to continue in your own state? No, it does not work that way. We must clean up our acts in our country and allow things to run effectively and functionally the way it's supposed to, not injecting falsehood into the whole entire administration.
Yes,
because
they inject
dead fish.
They
we
inject
know a dead fish when it starts stinking from the head. And let me tell you something. If the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? So they better watch out.
They inject falsehood, George. They create a situation where also whatever comes from the opponent, they say that is the false news. So this is mind game, and this is what they've succeeded to do. But you see, the interesting thing is we're in a digital age where people also have information flying in their hands. So now Nigerians have woken up and they can now decipher the false news and the real news. So people can actually know that some of the things they are saying, that's why we're able to identify them. If it were before, people like Keyamo, people like Fanika, they will still be going around doing what they're doing because nobody will identify, nobody will see that they are spreading false news. So, because we have these gadgets with us, We have all these access of information. Now that is changing. And thank God that we have come to this time of our life when a lot of people now can decipher. Eyes are opening. People are awakening to the truth and to what is happening. So, George, yes, that's very true. That's correct. Very correct. So, anyway, the tribunal that is sitting has also admitted to what the EU election observers have reported. And we all agree with what, in fact, they didn't even say it as hard as we want them to say, but at least they said it, because there were more atrocities on that election day. There were so much malpractices. There was so much mixing up numbers and everything. And also, INEC did a lot of harm to Nigerian voters. INEC did a lot of harm. So, but anyway, these EU election observers, they've put it out. The response from the Tinubu, the presidency, is that he said it's a cheap paper dex work, cheap dex work. Trying to rubbish.
Can you imagine?
Yes, he said cheap dex work.
Can you imagine?
Trying to rubbish.
You see, that's exactly what the problem we have in Nigeria. For the love of money, we're willing to do anything, sell organs, mutilate, steal, flying bad news and fake news all over the place. Why can't they just keep quiet? The case is already in the court, and you're determining the answers already before the judgment is made. Is that the way we ought to do it? They're putting the cart before the horse. So the point is, if these people are bringing their result, a man of integrity will hold his peace until they see what is going on. To come out and start talking like a bull with no brain, it doesn't make any sense. You make a fool of yourself when you do that. When everybody's seeing white and you're calling it black, you're the one that is out of your mind. And that's exactly what is happening with this man. Anyway, that's where we are today. So let the justice, I believe that the Supreme Court ought to hear the voices of the people, that we are watching what is going on and what we need to do in order to authenticate what is going to happen is to make sure that the identity of every individual in that court is spread around. So when they give false news or false judgment, they will be held accountable because they are accountable to the populace. Yes, they are accountable to the population of Nigeria, to the citizens of Nigeria. And then we are looking for fairness, justice, and equity in the result that they are about to give. So they better watch out because the youths are watching. The youths are watching. We were just talking about a Charlie boy who was telling them to look at what is happening in France. And, all of a sudden they're coming out to say that Charlie boy ought to be prosecuted. Can you imagine that? When all these people that have been making threats against the Eastern region, how they come go away. Look at Asari Dokubo with the nonsense that is coming out of his mouth. This man is a big fool at that age. He's still talking like a baby. Can you imagine what that man is saying? And nobody has actually arrested him. He ought to be arrested because he is part of the problem in Nigeria. So these are the people they ought to be looking into to make sure that when we bring down all these false allegations and false news, they'll be held accountable. Enough is enough in that country.
Enough is enough in that country. Talking of enough being enough, there's a situation going on, George. As of this morning, it's been trending even up till now. There's this young girl. A young girl sat for the exam called JAMB. JAMB is a unified matriculation examination that gives you access to get into the university. So JAMB is that joint admission and matriculation board that handles this exam called UTME. And on Sunday, last week actually, a young girl, about, I think, maybe 19-year-old girl, Ejikeme. She was accused by JAMB of forging her own UTME results, and they say she falsified the whole thing and made it look like she scored the highest uh, score in this JAMB. So Ejikeme Joy Nnesomi has continued to say that she didn't do anything, that this is what they sent to her, this is what came to her phone, this is what she saw on the JAMB website, and a lot of stories going on around this. Now, it has now turned into a sort of story like a tribal thing. Some people are now saying maybe because she's from the East and they don't want her to look like the Easterners are this intelligent. Some people are saying she falsified it so that she can look like a very intelligent girl. So a lot of things are going on this story. But one thing I know is that JAM has some answers to give us. Take note that this same JAM was where in 2017, 2018, we had that snake swallowed 37 million naira that was allocated to them. So now this JAMB is coming to tell us that this girl penetrated their database, their server, and imputed and changed numbers. So who do we want to believe? And the little girl came out in her own press release and denied everything and said this was what came to her phone. This is it. I mean, this is how it went. So and we're also looking at maybe some people somewhere did this for the girl, and she doesn't know about it. So, George, what are you following that story? Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I am following this story regarding Mmesoma, Ejikeme. The point is this. This is a 19-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what kind of resources she might have to manipulate such a thing by herself, and how deplorable this case is and how sad it is a young lady. The JAM people are already coming out and calling it fake, that she manipulated this thing while the case is still being investigated. And how stupid can Fabian Benjamin be to come out and already giving his own result of where there is no investigation? You don't know whether there was something happening inside. DSS was called. They're supposed to be investigating this situation. And yet, the so-called spokesperson for JAM people came out. All you're going to say is an allegation. We have not much. This is what we have, and this is what we are alleging. And then you're already saying, putting it out there that the young lady forged her result. How do you know after the investigation? Would they be bold enough when the investigation is against them to come out and say, we are sorry for this? Because for us, it is right now. We're seeing the little girl coming out, saying exactly what she's saying, that this is what she gets from their portal. And then they are, disputing the fact that it is so. But you cannot emphatically come out and begin to crucify the young lady without allowing the investigation to finish before you do so. And I want to ask a question to the public here.
Go ahead.
Please, you people. DSS was there when the election and the February 25th was manipulated, when the portals were shut down. Have they been able to find anything concerning this? What actually happened? Mahmoud Yakubu said that there was a glitch. What glitch was it? What is it that DSS has found? This is exactly what is happening in that country. During the election, we had MC Oluoma, threatening openly, threatening a massive number of people in Lagos State from the Eastern region. Nobody said anything. Nobody touched them. when they were burning the houses and burning the businesses of Igbos. Police did not come to their rescue. DSS did not come to their rescue. Nobody come to their rescue. And as a result of that, they said, we have to ask our own people, IPOB, to come and help us. And they went and picked up that man. This is what you call stupid justice in that country. It doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden right now, this man is coming out to say that the young lady forged her result. How can she penetrate into your portal? Whose strength is it to make sure that that the portals are there was a control that they could not invest, penetrate into the portals to do such.
What we found out is this thing is actually it's not the first time it's happening. Last year, JAMB said a similar thing occurred, and about 3 or 4 students were in this same situation. So what they did was they asked them to show up and for them to retake the exam, and they even said they promised to give them food and their transport fee, but they said some didn't come, some came, and the ones that came didn't make up to that count they claimed they had made before. So it's a very interesting story.
So how do we know that the examination that was given to them the second time,
yes,
they did not intentionally make it so hard for them to pass that exam? How do we know that? How do we know that?
This shows this shows, George, very good. This shows that our system is really broken. I mean, if you could have such organization like JAMB and all this, INEC, similar thing INEC is doing, and they can't control their machines, their devices and database and all these things. And I mean, everything is just messed up. So there's a problem. There's a problem, and they need to own up to. They need to come out and say that there's a problem. But you see, they will keep defending themselves. They will keep accusing the girl. They will keep trying to look good before the public. But we know that something is wrong somewhere. Something from their own side is not.
All I'm saying, Massive Mark, is this: when we have an allegation and there is accusations flying left, right, and center, and then you get the investigators involved in the situation, the people that are the spokespeople of JAMB should not come out and make a conclusive statement. It's an allegation. You don't know whether you guys it's from your inside. You don't know what this stuff, whether it took place from your workers or those who you have hired to work.
Okay.
You don't know that. So you should never. Fabian Benjamin, I am talking to you directly. You need to withdraw some of the statements you were making. Arise News was talking to you and trying to get you to stop making those allegations, but you continued. Or whatever news that was that I heard. So you need to withdraw your statement. If DSS is involved, allow them to do the investigation and let there be fair, just, and equitable way of bringing out the results. If you are guilty of this mess of falsely accusing this young lady, be bold and man enough to come out and apologize to her.
And not only apologizing, they've done a lot of damage. Yes, psychologically they've messed her up. I mean, but also she's getting some limelight now. A lot of people are knowing her. Some companies are calling her for endorsement, for sponsorship and all that. So maybe this is her plight. Maybe this is how God wants to elevate her. Who knows?
Because let me tell you something. She's telling you, I'm a student.
And we saw that from her results, the past
Yes,
results.
right. So it's almost like if it is somebody who is not that intelligent, an average student, I can see the reason why you will say that. But for somebody who is like this, who has made it all through her, classes with straight A's, what is she going to gain to do this?
Yes, absolutely.
And then the worst part of this, that what this man had to say is, watch the way that somebody was telling her what to do. somebody was telling her what to say, that somebody is fooling her. How stupid can such thing come out of an educated, enlightened individual? What do you mean that somebody is telling her what to do? Look at her body language. You become a psychologist. Do you think she was alone in the room? Wasn't somebody feeling what she was doing? How stupid can these people be and still call themselves educated and enlightened? That's what your defense is for saying what you're saying. That somebody's fooling her. Somebody was, in the room with her, telling her what to say. She's 19 years old, for goodness sake. What do you expect? You think that she's going to go there and say things with her parents not being around, or with grown-ups not being around her? And then you have to go to the news stations because you have the access to it to say what you are saying. And you call yourself a doctor?
Thank you very much. You just hit the drums hard, George. George, we have to go. We have to go. Great words coming from you. Thank you very much, George. This is Talking Drums. Viewers, you have been tuned in to Talking Drums, and George has been talking the drum. So we'll be back next week, same time, following any updates, following things happening. Thank you for tuning in. George, thank you so much. Hope to see you next week. Please take a cold drink. After hitting the drum,
I'm trying to get my voice good. I'm trying. It was a rough weekend for me. I've been speaking all through the weekend.
Oh dear.
And we thank viewers from around the world. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, we have.
Check us out next week. We have some good news coming to you guys.
Thank you very much. And I'm enjoying the summer here. You see me on my short polo. The heat is serious.
I will joining you in Italy very soon.
Okay. All right, George. Thank you. Bye-bye.